G'day everyone, Jason Nunn with this Friday's Fishing Report, proudly brought to you by Fisherman's Warehouse Marine at Sweet Street, Warners Bay, where I am hiding today. It is absolutely killing us out there, so we've decided to come over and visit the boys and just stay indoors. Very, very hot today, sort of reckon it's in here it feels like about 45, but I think outside it's around about 38. Subtly change coming through tomorrow, but Sunday, Monday in particular, look like real special days. I think we'll have that south-southwester lingering a little bit into Sunday morning, but Monday, if you're off for the Monday, it is looking crackerjack. You've got some really nice tides, of course. High tide tomorrow morning, just a little bit before 10 a.m, 1.8 metres, and a low tide around about 4 p.m, and it settles in. It's not too bad, it's a 0.4 of a tide. Full moon, of course, tomorrow night. Now, the results from last weekend, yes, we had an opportunity to go up to Nelson's Bay. We fished probably just wide of Seal Rocks Canyons there. Got a blue marlin on Saturday afternoon, dropped a couple, like probably everybody, but water temperature 27.6 degrees, and I watched the weather this week, Gavin Morris making mention, 29-degree water temperature off Woolway, extraordinarily hot at this time of year, and that was probably a reflection on what was actually going on. 194 kilogram blue marlin caught by lady angler on Zorro on the Sunday on 15 kilo line class after a 3-hour battle on a 100-pound trace. That is an amazing capture, and that is what got the $50,000 and well reserved. And I'm pretty confident that Brent Hancock from Tackle World at Port Stephens took out the tag and release. So well done to Brent and his crew. But a lot of fish around, and it was really interesting this week, and we talk about the wind farms and what's been going on offshore, just how many fish were tagged and or caught within that possible wind farmed area, and it was almost 3/4 of the fish, probably a bit above, in that zone. So it just shows you how critical and how many fish basically gather in that very, very important region. So again, you know, none of us are pushing the barrow on the wind farm of anything, we're fighting against it. So hopefully we'll get some more headway over the next few months when we get some, obviously the Port Stephens guys are very proactive, and I think us guys down in Newcastle should be as well, because it does come back down into our area here also. Offshore anglers out here, game fishing has been happening, obviously a lot of black, blue and striped marlin on the shelf at the present moment. Some big yellowfin, there was some yellowfin up around Seal Rocks Canyons there last Saturday. 76 kilo was the best yellowfin. There was a couple of long line sets we were working in and around them at one stage, but those big tropical yellowfin with those sickles that come all the way back to the tail. So some big yellowfin there, and I did hear reports there was some yellowfin off Sydney this week as well. So there are a lot of action happening offshore, a lot of dolphin fish out there as well. Back on the farm in that trap line, there are a few dollies, guys, but there's a little bit lacking in size. I talked to Troy Payton this week. He had a bit of an angle down there around the Texas area. Got a few nice kings, but seemed to be plagued a bit by barracuda. I'm really surprised. Must be cold water on the bottom opposed to up the top, because the upper layers are quite warm. So that deep water is presenting itself a bit troublesome at present, while in close, surprisingly, talked to the Slender Boys this week, a cobia caught off Moon Island. So there's a lot of bonito around Moon Island all the way down through Mawson, Catherine Hill Bay, but we're now seeing these northern fish. They appeared at Port Stephens a couple of weeks ago. I did talk about it last week. Well, we hadn't heard much, and then bang, there it is. So cobia are off our part of the coastline already, and a lot of sharks too, guys, and obviously a lot of guys mistaking cobia for sharks. There's a lot of hammers and whalers, particularly down around that Waibang area, and no doubt around the island. But cobia, bonito, there's the odd mac tuna thrown in. We haven't heard of any Watson leaping bonito, but no doubt they're there. Good numbers of trag and quite a few mulloway, and I think that's really going to be the key with this full moon rolling through. You're going to see a lot more offshore fishing happening. Not a lot of reds offshore, I might add, and I just think it's because the water is just too warm, 22 degrees on the beach. Sprinkling of tailor, tail end of the whiting on the beach, and of course a few sharks now getting caught on the beach with that warmer temperature. Tailor on the breakwater, and probably a few on the channel, but basically just got to move around. I talked to Ronnie Owen this week. He got some really nice fish in the lake. They got some really nice flathead, a big mixture, a few tailor, a couple of nice reds as well. So there are some really nice fish in the lake, and I keep on seeing these posts of these lake reds. So there's some really nice fish in the lake, as there are mulloway and the squid. The squid are still there in pretty good numbers. I know they're getting a few around the island of an evening, but those lake squid, some beautiful lake squid around, and some really nice kings, guys, and I think that is the key. Get some of those live squid and then move around Tomorrow's just going to be that hard southerly, so it's an opportunity to probably more fish those sheltered areas such as the Channel 11 Salts Bay, which is perfect for our shore-based angler in that bay there, particularly on that tide. And look, I don't think the swallow will come up too much for the rock fishermen, but there are a few things happening on the rocks, obviously a few tail around, and of course now within New South Wales you're not permitted now to fish or take blue groper. So not only spearfishing, but now fishing with rod and reel. So blue groper totally off the menu until I'm not quite sure whether that's just like an extended period or whether it's just an experimental period. Yet to see that, and I'll keep you updated with what's actually going on there. Still a few crabs around, and look, as we start to move into March, you're going to see a lot more of these female crabs move out of the estuary, which will then put more emphasis back on the males as basically the mating season starts to draw to an end. So looking for some good things as we get into March and possibly then into April. But I think at this stage of the game, guys, just got to get out there, a few flathead around, a few flounder, and those flathead are probably just going to get a little bit more active over the next few weeks as they've come off the back of that spawn. And I think this rain that we've been getting is really starting to spice it up, because I'm seeing some beautiful brim in the lake and still some whiting if you're really keen on the flats. All in all, guys, I'm going to get out of here. It's too close to work. I'm going home. I'll see you next Friday.